All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining my webinar series for tonight. I hope you enjoy what's coming. For those of you that don't know me, although I think everybody on right now do, but I'll say it for the replay. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Renee Roberts, and I'm a registered health and functional nutrition coach and founder of Nourish to Live RX. And I work with men and women over 40 who are struggling with low energy and have trouble sleeping. And I help them get their energy back. I help them sleep better because typically those kind of issues are symptoms and not really the underlying cause. So I help them get better with that and become the best version of themselves. I do want to introduce you to my guest speaker, Christy Barko, who is going to show us how cultivating mindfulness can help us reduce stress and cope with physical and emotional changes associated with midlife. So Christy is a registered nurse and a certified mindful wellness coach. And she also has certifications in health coaching, life coaching, and executive life coaching. And currently she's pursuing certifications in mindfulness and meditation training. So Christy, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time to teach us about this. So before I pass the mic over to you, I just want to say to the participants, feel free to ask questions in the chat or in the Q&A section. And if you do, there's a little to button. Just make sure you change it to all panelists and attendees and let everybody see what you're asking. That would be great. It automatically defaults to just panelists, so that would be really good. Okay, so I think that's it for now. So Christy, I'm going to pass it over to you, and I will stop sharing my screen and you can take it away, and I'll go off video as well. So,
perfect.
There we go.
Thank you, Renee. That was a lovely introduction. And I'm really happy to be here tonight, talking to all of you lovely participants that are here. This is a topic that I am really passionate about because it has made such an impact in my life and benefited me in so many ways. So Renee already kind of gave me a little bit of an introduction, so I'm not going to repeat all of that. So I also have, I prepared like a little presentation PowerPoint for you guys to help you stay with me. So it's not quite so boring with me just, talking to you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, I always have to figure out how to do this really quick. And then we're going to... Okay. Can you guys see my screen? It should say a mindful midlife and then give a little description. I want to make sure all of you can see it.
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So a mindful midlife, what is mindfulness and how to cultivate it for more calm, less stress, and a deeply fulfilling life? Again, as I was saying, mindfulness has made such an impact in my life that it's just something that I want to share with others because I think it can be really beneficial and help all of us. And this little presentation that I prepared for you is just going to be an overview. We're not going to take a deep dive. We're not going to get too deep into the science or the studies or anything like that. This is going to be like an overview. And I don't know where everybody's at. Like, I don't know if we have people here that have never heard of this before, or maybe they've heard of it, but they're just curious, or maybe it's a practice that you already do. So I'm just gonna give an overview, and hopefully hopefully you'll enjoy it and learn something while you're here, I hope. So here's what we'll cover tonight. We're going to talk about what is mindfulness, potential benefits of mindfulness, simple ways that you can begin practicing mindfulness in your day-to-day life. We're going to do an experiential exercise so you can all get a taste of what mindfulness is. We'll hopefully have time for some questions at the end, and then how to stay in touch at the very end. And Renee, just let me know if questions pop up. I tend to get focused on one thing here. So now Renee did already give a little bit of background about me. I just wanted to add a little bit more. I'm the founder and director of Thrive Coaching and Consulting Services. I'm also a mom. I have 2 almost teenage boys, which is an adventure in and of itself. But I wanted to give you just a little bit of background of how I ended up doing what I'm doing. And as she mentioned, I'm also a registered nurse. So that's how I started my career. I started my career in the medical field in nursing and did that on and off for 20 years or so. And really just got to a place where I was maxed out with stress. I was suffering from a lot of anxiety. I was not sleeping. I was not taking care of myself. And I really hit like a desperate place. I really hit rock bottom is what I would, almost like a breakdown, I would say. It was almost, to that effect. And also had like a significant health crisis in the mix. And so it just became really, really apparent that I couldn't continue down that path any longer. And I really wanted to change. I really wanted to leave nursing and do something else. Got into health coaching, absolutely loved coaching, then pursued life coaching, executive life coaching. And as she said, I've gone on to pursue certifications in meditation. Soon I'll be finishing up my mindfulness training as it relates to particularly to stress reduction. So taking a class in that right now. So that's really interesting. So that's kind of how I ended up where I'm at today. And now I really love working with midlife women. I mean, this all kind of happened for me right at the cusp of midlife. And, I had to go through this kind of whole, okay, I'm going to, reinvent myself. And, that has its ups and downs. So I really like working with other women in this kind of similar stage of life. I really enjoy helping them prioritize and optimize their wellness, taking a step back, from the overwhelm, tuning into what they need and want, and then helping them show up as the best version of themselves in the life that they want. And I do this with a variety of mindfulness tools, coaching, and other tools and coaching tools and techniques that I've just gathered along the way. And for me, along my journey, the 2 things that I would say that really, really helped me, one was coaching. Having my own coach was extremely helpful and beneficial for me. And the other was mindfulness. So now I've kind of tried to combine these 2 things in what I do today. So what is mindfulness? I have a few definitions on here because everybody's slightly different. The first one is from John Kabat-Zinn. He is the professor of medicine emeritus at Stress Reduction Clinic and the Center for Mindfulness in Medicine. So he started back in the late 1970s. He started what was called the mindfulness-based stress reduction classes for people at the University of Massachusetts Medical Center. And he defines mindfulness. He's like the expert on mindfulness. He's the go-to guy, written lots of books, just really, really knowledgeable about this. So he defines mindfulness as paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. So there's a few elements there. One is paying attention intentionally. So paying attention with intention, focusing on the present moment. So not thinking about what happened yesterday, not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, and this element of being non-judgmental. So that's one definition. And then positive psychology defines it as the practice of maintaining a non-judgmental state of heightened or complete awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, or experiences on a moment-to-moment basis. So you still have kind of the same ideas reflected. So you are paying attention, you are in the present moment, and there's that non-judgmental element that comes up again. So there's some common themes here. Even though they're slightly different, there's common themes that come up. And then in mindfulness world, this isn't exactly a definition, but more just an added description. So mindfulness is not meant to change our experience as much as change our relationship to our experience so that it becomes less stressful and problematic. So it's really about focusing on the internal world and how you perceive and process things rather than trying to change things externally. And I always say that real wellness starts from the inside out. It's got to start from the inside. And mindfulness helps cultivate that, helps cultivate this, this inner like resilience and this inner transformation. How does mindfulness help? So I'm just going to skim the surface here and just highlight a few things. The cool thing is that they're really starting to study mindfulness a lot more seriously now. It used to be thought of as really not a mainstream tool or practice, but now it's becoming much more mainstream, and that is because a lot of studies are supporting the benefits of mindfulness. So I really love as a nurse when like science starts to prove something I already know kind of intrinsically. I love when that happens. It just makes me so happy. So, and that's what's happening with this whole kind of new field of mindfulness. So in the physical realm, what mindfulness can help with is creating a relaxation response. So it can help, excuse me, I need water. It can help us shift from that state of fight or flight to a state of rest and digest. Let me get a drink of water. So fight or flight, if you're not kind of familiar with these two nervous system responses, fight or flight is your reaction. It's like when you perceive a threat and then your body is, flooded with hormones and you are needing to react to something. So your blood pressure rises, your heart rate increases, your respiratory rate increases. All of those things happen in order to get you ready to fight or flight, right? Conversely to that, we have the rest and digest. So in rest and digest, you feel calm, you feel relaxed. This is where healing and proper digestion takes place. So you can see that they are kind of opposing forces here. And the thing is that a lot of people don't realize is that this rest and digest state where we are calm, we are in that healing and digestion phase, this really should be like our normal state. This should be our more how we are on a regular basis. And then the fight or flight response should be something we use if we need it. But in today's society, in today's world, this is often, for people, this is flipped. And they spend most of their time in this fight or flight, reactivity, highly alert state. And then if they're lucky, they can get into this rest and digest state at certain times. But it really should be flipped. So that is one thing that mindfulness helps us do. It helps us flip this switch from fight or flight to rest and digest. Okay, that was longer than I meant it to be. But we already talked about, so if you're in rest and digest, you're going to have lower blood pressure. There's results that are showing that it reduces your cardiovascular risk. You have a decrease in heart rate, I left the word rate out, and respiration rate. You feel relaxed and calmer. This is where you heal and digest more properly. And the Mayo Clinic did a study that showed promising results that it also helps reduce menopause symptoms and the stress associated with it. So that's really promising. There's hope. Mentally, man, my throat is dry. You guys with me? Is somebody just throwing too much information at you? So mentally, how does it help us mentally? Technically speaking, neurologically speaking, it helps decrease the activity of the amygdala. So that sounds like kind of a Star Trek name, I think, amygdala. But what the amygdala is responsible for is that fight or flight response. So you see a trigger, your amygdala responds, your body's flooded with these stress hormones, reactive hormones. So if it's decreasing the activity of the amygdala, then you're going to have decreased reactivity. Now, of course, sometimes you need to react, right? I mean, sometimes that's a good thing. But generally in day-to-day life, we don't need that high level of stress. It also increases responsiveness. So if you are not reacting to a situation, then you can be more responsive in a situation. There is evidence that it can help with mild depression and anxiety, and I have definitely seen that in my life. And also improvement in cognitive function with a consistent practice of mindfulness. Anybody have any questions so far? I don't want to rush through and like, if you're still a little like, yeah, I don't really get this yet. Like I kind of understand what you're saying, but I don't really get it. That's totally fine, because mindfulness is really meant to be experienced. You can't really describe it. It's really meant to be something that you experience on a physical level. So if you're still a little bit lost, don't worry about it. We're going to do an exercise at the end to hopefully help you get a better idea, a better sense of what this is all about. So emotional. I did already mention that it can help reduce depression and anxiety. I mentioned that with mental. So you notice reflected in the definitions this component of non-judgment. And so when we practice observing without judgment, what tends to happen is that we also start to judge ourselves less. So there can be this increased self-love and acceptance that happens with a practice of mindfulness. Increased feelings of okayness. So, you know, if you are just observing things and you're not judging everything as good or bad, or I need to fix this, or I'm not, you know, good enough at this, you feel more just okay with who you are, okay with things, not meaning that you don't want to change certain things, but it's coming from a more healthy place rather than a feeling of I'm no good, therefore I need to change this. It can make ordinary experiences extraordinary. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the actual experiential exercise. But it's almost like being able to view the world through kind of like child's eyes. That can make just ordinary everyday experiences, it can make you aware to really how extraordinary they are. And then it also improves the connection and the communication between mind and body. So a lot of times, especially us as women, we suppress what our body needs, or we ignore what our body is trying to communicate with us, or we don't even know what our body is trying to communicate with us because we've been ignoring it for so long. I mean, how many times have you just put off going to the bathroom because, I don't know, you know, you're busy or someone needs you or this or that, you know, you're pulled in so many directions. And then 4 hours later, you're like, okay, I really have to go to the bathroom now. There's no more waiting. So some simple ways that you can begin to practice mindfulness in your everyday life. I don't know, is this covering? Okay. So number one, tune into your senses. This is a really common tool used to help cultivate and develop mindfulness. Tune into your senses. And I have this picture of the sparkler. So if you could kind of envision yourself, you know, holding this sparkler and you tune into your senses. So tune into what can you hear? What sounds are the sparkler making? What sounds do you hear? What sounds do you notice around you? What do you really see with your eyes? Like, what do the sparks look like? Where are they going? What are you taking in with your sight? What are you feeling with your hands? Are the sparks hitting you? It really grounds you when you engage in your senses. It really grounds you in the present moment. And again, it's like you are able to see things with new eyes and appreciate things in a different way that maybe you were missing. before. And then just breathe. I think that should have an E on it. Did I spell that wrong? Just breathe. So another tool in mindfulness is breathing, or just tuning in to how you're breathing, or noticing your breath. So even if I asked you to right now to just close your eyes and tune into how you're breathing, just observe it. It automatically kind of shuts out distractions, and it's a really good tool to use when you just need to take a step back. You know, when you're in that reactivity sort of state, it's a great tool to just take a step back, notice your breath, take a beat, and then you can come back to the situation in a more responsive way. Be outside. So, and I say be outside, not just go outside, but actually be outside. So be fully present in the outside. So this is also a great time to tune in to your senses and notice really what's happening around you. Notice, take in all the beauty around you. Notice what you can hear. Do you hear dogs barking? Do you hear the birds chirping? How does this air feel on your skin? What are you feeling, you know, inside? So it's a great avenue to practice mindfulness because there's just so much to take in. And I love being outside. I don't know about you guys. So experience gratitude. And I say experience gratitude because I mean more than just like listing off a few things that you're grateful for, but actually taking the time to feel grateful for something and to kind of consider what that feels like. What does it feel like to be grateful? So experiencing it, really experiencing it, and being in the moment with that gratitude. Okay. Before we do the experiential exercise, I just want to see if anybody has any questions. I'm going to take a pause for a minute just to see. Are we all good?
I'm good. I have questions, but I'll wait till the end.
Sure, no worries. Okay, so we're going to do a mindfulness experiential exercise so you can kind of see what this is all about. And if you've never done this before, that's fine. Just all you have to do really is just kind of follow along and listen to my prompts, listen to what I'm saying, and just go with it. You know, that's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to try. You don't have to do it a certain way. There's no right or wrong here. We're just going to do this together and see how it goes. So I'm going to pull some elements out of those little tools I suggested for how to practice mindfulness, and I put them together so we can get a little taste of all of them. So the senses and gratitude and just being in the present moment here. And the breathing. So the first thing we're going to do is just find a comfortable position to sit, or maybe if you want to recline, that's fine. If you can sit with your back straight, but relaxed. You can have your hands down by your sides or just place them in your lap, that's fine. If you feel comfortable and it's safe to do so, close your eyes or just shift your gaze downward. Certainly, if you are driving, do not close your eyes. Use your best judgment here for if it's a safe time to do that. And I'm going to walk you through what's called square breath. This is a great tool to use when you're feeling stressed and you want to get out of that fight or flight and be more in that rest and digest, or if you just need to take a few breaths to give you some space to help you in the moment. And it's super easy. It's a count of 4. You breathe in A count of 4, you hold that breath. A count of 4, you exhale. And a count of 4, you hold that breath. So that's why it's called square breath. So I will walk you through that. So if you want, go ahead and close your eyes. And we're going to take one just in and out breath together. Ready? Inhale. And out. And now we're going to inhale for a count of 4. Hold. Out. Hold. In. Hold. Out. Hold. In. Hold. Out. Hold. We'll do one more. In. Hold. Out. And hold. Now just breathe comfortably. Whatever feels normal for you. Now we're going to do what's called a body scan, where we just check in with different areas of our body and see how they're doing. So we're going to start at our heads. So turn your attention to your head. And just notice what sensations are there, if any. And there's no need to try to understand why at this point or fix it. Just noticing. Check in with your lower jaw. Is there tension, tightness there? Just tune into that area. You can invite that area to relax, but there's no forcing. Check in with your neck. Is there tightness or tension? Do you carry a lot of tension there in your neck? Invite the relaxation. Moving down to your shoulders. Notice, are they pulled up tightly to your ears? Are they relaxed? Are they tight, tense? Moving down to the chest. Take a moment to just tune into your breath and notice how you're breathing. Notice how the lungs expand and then contract. Perhaps you can detect your heart beating. Down to the abdomen. Are you full? Are you hungry? What do you notice there? Check in with the low back, the hips, pelvic area. Again, if you notice tightness or tension, you can invite the area to relax, but not force. Check in with the thighs, turn your attention to your thighs, backs of your legs. How do they feel seated against the chair? Notice what the knee joints feel like. Is there any pain that you notice there? Down into the calves and shins, the lower legs. Are they tight? Do they feel relaxed? Moving down now to the feet. Are they warm and cozy and nice warm socks? Can you feel the feet, the floor beneath your feet? What does that feel like? What do you notice? Are they achy from being up all day? Just notice if you feel like giving them a stretch or a rotation. That would feel good. Go ahead and do that. Just take a moment to actually think about all that your feet do for you every day. They get neglected, I think. Turn your attention now to your hands and tune into that area. Are your hands warm? Are they cold? What do you feel? Are they touching something? What do you feel against your hands? And kind of turn your awareness to your whole body as a whole. Just check in to your whole body. Just take a moment to consider how it all works together to support you, providing what you need. Turn your attention back to the center of your chest, right in the area of your heart. And just imagine this heart area is golden, like the sun. Consider all the work that your heart puts in every day without you even having to think about it. It just keeps working. Take a moment and just feel gratitude for that. Maybe internally even say thank you to yourself and your body and your heart and your feet for all the amazing things that it does for you every day. We take it for granted. And now just imagine that golden heart, that light just filling you up full, extending down to through your abdomen, your legs, out to your tippy toes, and up through your neck and head, just this golden light of energy filling you up. And now let's take another deep breath together. Let's inhale and exhale. And just notice the room around you, the space you're in now. And become more aware of the present moment and my voice. And when you feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes. So I'm just curious what that was like for everybody. If that was new for you, if that's something you're used to and kind of used to doing things like that. Just curious what that was like for you guys.
Well, I can speak. I do a lot. I do this at night. I have trouble sleeping myself, so I do a lot of this body scan and stuff at night. So when I was doing it now I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I think I've conditioned my body into actually like just making it so relaxed, but it's good.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing to note. That's a good point. Is that especially if you're new at this and maybe the first time you try it or try something like this and you don't notice an immediate response, sometimes it's because our body is so, I don't know, unused to it, like that we're trained to be in that reactive mode, that it can be really, really challenging for people who are new to this.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be persistent. You have to keep trying it, and you have to almost do it enough so that your body begins to understand that it's safe to relax, it's safe to rest, it's safe to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's good point.
Yeah, it looks like we got some comments that it was relaxing, and it is very relaxing. So
good, I'm glad.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? If so, you can type them in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we can bring you on audio. You can ask it yourself. I do have some questions myself that, so it's funny because, like I say, I coach on sleeping and stuff. So a lot of times I will say, it's really good to meditate or be mindful. So I'm someone that doesn't actually meditate that often, but I do deep breathing. And so I'm curious, what is the difference between, mindfulness and meditation and deep breathing and for other things too, because I do hypnotherapy as well, which I know there's some suggestive tones with that when you do hypnotherapy, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on some of the differences.
Yeah, so I would say particularly with mindfulness and meditation, mindfulness is more of a way of being. It's more of a state of being. And meditation, I would say, is more of a practice. Now, certainly you can practice mindfulness within meditation, but mindfulness, you can practice anywhere at any time of the day. It's really all about just tuning into the present moment, what's happening around you, getting centered and tuning into the present moment. And so I think that, does that make sense? Like, mindfulness is something you can do anywhere at any time. It's a state of being. You can be mindful doing anything. You can be mindful having a conversation with a friend. You can be mindfully taking a walk. Meditation is more of, a separate practice that you make a time and space for, where you practice that specifically.
Okay, so how does one then practice mindfulness, or how I guess how often, like, does it come to a point that you just are mindful, or do you really have to work at it and then it becomes just part of who you are? How does that work?
I think the same with anything. The more you practice, the more it becomes easier to access that state or that way of being. And I think in order to start, it's not about like it's about doing what you're able to do. If you only have 5 minutes a day to just practice some deep breathing or tuning into your breath or practice engaging with your senses, then do that. You don't have to start with 2 hours of mindfulness or meditation a day. You can start with just small increments. You can do it while you're driving. You can do it, although don't close your eyes. But it's just about making even little moments, making them mindful moments. You can practice it while you're washing the dishes. I mean, feeling the water run over your hands, or just tuning into that present moment in that moment.
Okay. Do you have to practice to learn it?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Especially, I think it's harder for some than others. I think there are certain personalities that it is more difficult to do. I don't know. You've been doing it for a while, so what do you think? I'm curious to see what you think. Like, I think you get better with it. Get better at.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not good at it. I still find I have a hard time calming my mind.
Yes.
Especially after a busy day or a stressful day, because I do it at night, and I sometimes do it in the morning, but mostly at night, because I'm trying to calm my brain. I'm trying to stop it from thinking so I can actually go to sleep. So I have not yet mastered it, but
yeah. And like they say, it's if your mind wanders 100 times away from the present moment, you just kind of bring it back 100 times to the present moment. So you just keep practicing.
Okay. So Tina's asking a question. Tina, do you want to come on, or do you want me to just ask? I know you wrote something down. I know you raised your hand too. But what she's asking is, would it not be looking inside and being aware of thoughts that are appearing? Okay, she wants to come on, so I will allow her to talk.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I actually am part of a study group of A Course in Miracles, and I've been doing it for 2 years now. And it is a lot of mindfulness and meditation. And what I'm getting out of it is basically more of being aware of my thoughts, and just even in a conversation, or if somebody's saying something negative, or you're not liking what they say, and you're taking it to heart or whatever, it's a great I'm learning tools to just even going inside and actually looking at my mind is like the thoughts that are coming through. And it's amazing what goes through, like even meditation, like the different thoughts that you're having a mile a minute, and kind of writing it down, and then looking at it, and it's saying, is it true? And that's where I find a lot of the anxiety comes from. It's like, it's not true. It's your ego, or your, it's playing, it's not the truth that's coming out. So, and I basically say, show me the truth. And it's amazing, how much calmer, like your body relaxes, and just basically looking inside. Like everybody tends to think that you have to look outside for an answer. And really, we all have to look inside. And that's a great thing that I've really come out with, this mindfulness stuff and meditation. So thanks.
I love that you bring that up. Definitely being an observer of your thoughts and feelings rather than getting pulled into them, right? So when you can I almost think of that as a little bit more advanced technique, right? So when you're first starting, it's really just about even tuning into your body at all, really. But when you can start to get to that point where you can become an observer of your thoughts and feelings and emotions and being curious, you know, like let's say anger flares up, and instead of reacting, you're like, whoa, that's interesting. You know, you're noticing, you're getting curious, like, what's that anger about? That is really, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great reminder. Yes. And I think, a little more advanced, like once you start getting able to tune into your body and just sit in quiet. I can't tell you how many times too, when I've been able to kind of quiet my mind, how many ideas have come up, like out of that. I don't know if you've had that experience, Tina, or like realizations, or just kind of like inspiration or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I've actually experienced that. And also the nice thing is that I know you didn't touch on it, but even being mindful of your energy and what's, you know, people bring onto you, or bring it on yourself, like positive energy, right? And I do tend to, even going out for a walk, like you mentioned about, you know, being attentive to noises and all that stuff. And I do at times even just go close to, like at the waterfront, and I just close my eyes and I can hear that. It's a great, just a relaxation for me, is just hearing the birds, the water, and, you know, people conversing and all that. So that's a great relaxer for me too. And, you know, and just tune out all the traffic and all that sort of thing that's going by. But anyway, but thank you for letting me to share that.
Yeah, of course. And it's amazing how much you start to notice when you actually take the time to listen. And I feel like it's just made me so much more grateful for things, because, you know, maybe what I would have walked past and not even thought about before, now that I practice mindfulness, I may notice more simple things that, you know, they're just so much beauty. There's so much beauty around us. There's so much to be grateful for. And so I just, it cultivates all of that.
Just share the love. Right.
And I love Tina, that you said, you know, you have to look inside, and, you know, reminded me of, as me who's experienced anxiety, it's very close, because usually when you're experiencing anxiety, you're in your head, you're building these stories that really aren't true, like Tina said. And it's like, you gotta just get out of your head, and you've got to just stop spinning all of these stories. And because you can really go down into a spiral if you do. So,
and how empowering, I mean, if you think about it, how empowering to realize that you have choices. You know, you have a choice. Do I want to believe this thought? Do I want to go down this road of this emotional, you know, whatever I'm feeling right now? Like, when you can get to the point through practicing this kind of stuff where you realize that those things don't control you. Yes, they come up, but they do not control you. I mean, you're so empowered. It's just amazing.
I just want to actually share something with you, and this is what I was taught too, is when, you know, I go into my own head, it's the ego that speaks loudest, and I was told never to, you know, because that's the one that's gonna, you know, the fight or flight. When you mentioned that, you know, about the, you know, that gets you you know, anxious and all that sort of stuff. It's the other voice, the quiet voice that you want to listen to. You know, I tell mine to shut up a lot of times, trust me. And, you know, people laugh at me, but, you know, at times it's like, wow, where did you come up? You're you know, I actually talk to myself, and it's like, by that time, I'm really calmed down.
Yeah.
It sounds funny, but it works anyway for me. But thank you for your time. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Does anybody else have any questions?
Or comments, anything, your own personal experiences or challenges with this, or, you know, anything like that?
Just one question. So how do you work with your clients to practice mindfulness?
Yeah, so I do one-on-one coaching mostly. And sometimes we do this during, like we do different mindfulness exercise during the session, or I may give them little homework assignments to do, or I also have some audio recordings that I may provide for them to listen to. And then that, along with the coaching, I feel like is a really powerful combination that helps women kind of, you know, get to where they want to go, get moving in the direction they want to move.
Okay. Okay, good. I don't have anything else, questions. If nobody else has any questions, I don't see any coming through on Facebook. Got a couple of likes on Facebook, so that's good. Is there anything else, Christy, that you would like to say?
I just want to extend, well, thank you. Thank you for letting me participate in this. It was a lot of fun. And just want to let you guys know about something I do have coming up. It's called a Mindful Wellness Challenge. It starts on Monday. It's happening in my Facebook group. And let me see. Sorry.
Okay. You can post the information and.
Yeah, I will definitely post it inside the Facebook group, and then and be in touch with you guys as far as how you can contact me, or if you're interested in being a part of that challenge, how to get you registered for that. It's a 21-day challenge. It's completely free, and it's called the Mindful Wellness Challenge, and we're going to break down kind of the 6 pillars of wellness, and we're going to be utilizing some mindful tools and techniques as we kind of go through this journey together. So I'm really looking forward to it. And anyone also who's participated in this and wants to have a one-on-one conversation with me, I'll also provide a link where you can connect with me one-on-one for, you know, to learn more information or just to talk, anything like that.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you joining and giving us this great information and taking the time to speak with us tonight. And also before we sign off for the evening, I do want to let you guys know, most of you know that I do have this webinar series every other Wednesday. However, we have a special one coming up next Wednesday. So on the 24th, the topic is healthy habits that support brain health. It's a special day and time because the guest speaker that I have is actually calling in from the UK. So we had to have it a little bit earlier because she's 5 hours ahead of us. So I would love for you guys to join. I'm going to post information in the chat. I'll also send it out with a replay tomorrow. But I hope you'll be able to join. And then I will send an email tomorrow. I'm also going to ask, this is new, I'm going to ask for some feedback on the webinar tonight and maybe for some upcoming topics that you would like to see coming up. If you would like some more information, I'm going to post some in the, post the link to upcoming events in the chat because I have the next 3 or 4 posted and ready for registration. So you can check it out there. And I think that is it. So we will sign off. And again, Christy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great learning experience. And I'll have Christy send out the information as well for you guys. So you can have it if you want to join the challenge or have a chat with her. So great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Have a good evening.
Bye.